Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I'm your host, River Lee, and I am the founder of the Savvy Groomer, where I teach you guys to go from being burnt out, broken, to healthy, wealthy, and happy. So I am so excited for today's topic. I got a little saucy in some Facebook groups. I know you're all shocked that I got saucy, right? Never, right? Not me, never me. I would never start well, I mean, it's not my intention. It's not my intention to start drama in groups. But what happens sometimes is that there's something I really need to tell people or something I really want to help. And it just doesn't always work out that way. So today's topic is going to be, are you really charging enough? So as you guys know, I have a fantastic price increase masterclass. Hey, Jennifer, great to see you live. It's 6 modules full of tons of information. And the goal is not just to increase your pricing, but also to make sure that what you're charging is enough. It's not just picking a number out of thin air. I can't tell you how people say, like, what I'm charging, I feel like it's a fair number. It's like, okay, well, why does it feel fair? What are you basing this on? Is it because you've talked to other groomers in the area? Is it because that's just kind of like your own limiting belief? Like for many, many moons, I felt like I couldn't charge what I charge for a class. And I have to charge what I have to charge for a class. Why? Because if I don't charge what I charge, then I can't produce more things. You know, there's a lot of costs involved in my business. And in order for me to keep doing what I'm doing, I have to charge what I have to charge. And the same thing goes for grooming, right? You know, you want to ask yourself, why do you feel that this is the price point you deserve? Is it because you feel like charging more is greedy? Do you feel like, you started 10, 20, 30 years ago and that inflation is hitting in places, but you don't want to be a part of it? Or maybe like you've gone up, right? And let's say you've gone up from $40 to $60. You're like, oh, that's not a bad amount to go up. However, when we did our talk a few weeks ago on inflation, we realized that the inflation has hit so high that you have to actually calibrate for it. So I want to challenge you guys to actually consider, are you really charging enough? Now, my class is called the Price Increase Masterclass because the whole point originally was to show you guys how to price accordingly in order to go up in price. So even if you don't really want to do a price increase, it's a really great class to consider. Why? Because it's going to show you if you're actually charging enough. Now, that may seem a little counterintuitive, right? You're like, well, shouldn't I just know that I'm charging enough? And if I'm making money, isn't that showing me that I charge enough? And I mean, that's a complicated question, right? I can't tell you without seeing your numbers. So give me 1 second. I want to pull up this screen. I don't know what the heck my computer is doing. I feel like it just wants to do its own thing. So let me pull up my screen. I want to show you guys this really quickly. And it's hard because I've got the 2 screens up. There we go. So let's go ahead and share screen on this desktop. There we go. Now I can actually see it. So, and again, I'm going to turn guys to the side just to look at it. So this is our price increase masterclass sales page. And as we go through it, we talk about what it is. You're going to pick a number out of thin air. It's just not a strategy, right? Don't do that. Don't just say, I feel like $100 is a fair number. Even if it feels fair or feels high, why does it feel that way? You guys need to stop winging it, okay? And I mean, this is really what it is. If you've asked people in Facebook their opinion on your prices, how are they supposed to know if it's a good price or not a good price? I will say it's really easy to find out people are not charging enough, but it's harder to find out if you're charging. And, so if you say to me, I charge $35 for a doodle, even if you're a hobby groomer, that's extraordinarily low, right? But when you ask me, is $100 or $200 enough to do a doodle? I don't know your business enough to answer that question, right? And saying something feels fair or reasonable is not a logistical answer, right? It's not an answer that you can give that makes sense. Like, where is it grounded? How did you determine what was fair? How did you determine what was reasonable? And a lot of you guys, you're like, oh, well, I called around and this is the middle of everyone else. Well, what if everyone else is a hobby groomer, or they're rich women or men that their spouse just gave them a bunch of money to open up a grooming salon, or their mommy and daddy gave them a grooming salon? Now, I'm not saying if those are the situations that you're a bad person, but being a hobby groomer or having a business that you don't need to generate money makes it really difficult when the majority of us have to groom or have to have a business be profitable in order to pay our bills, right? So we need to make changes in business. That's just the truth. Okay. So, unfortunately, a lot of you guys have already increased your prices and you're still struggling to hit the numbers that you need to make or hit enough money that you can afford to hire people. A lot of groomers are not going to move to hourly if they're making 50% commission. The way that we're going to convince them to do that is offering them a livable hourly wage. Do you know what a livable hourly wage is? Right? And if you're just starting out, I have a student who's just starting out, and it's so, so important. Marie is saying the number one reason we are told when people cancel with us is that we charge more than any other mobiles in our area. So Marie, here's the thing. What are you not selling to that person? Because if they're choosing you over your price or they're rejecting you over your price, there's something going on in your marketing. And I feel like we've definitely talked a little bit about this. For you, it's like, what makes you stand out? What pain point are you actually solving in your business? And let's see, we actually talk about that in week 3. Okay. In module 3, you need to understand what you bring to the table for these clients. If you and 5 other groomers are exactly the same, of course they're going to cancel over price, right? I have a groomer that is in my group mentorship. She had to reposition a lot of things in her business to stand out. And you have to make sure the things that you're standing out with are things that your clients care about. A lot of things that we care about, they don't give a shit about. Clients, most of the time, don't care that we're using high-end products. They assume we use high-end products. I would assume the hairstylist I'm going to, the hairdresser I'm going to, uses high-end products. I would never assume that she's going to Sally's and using those products. Is it an option? Of course, right? So what makes your business special, Marie? What makes your business so different from everyone else that they want to do that? And Marie, if they're canceling, are you booking them way out and they're canceling? Are they booking with you, putting a card on file, and then a few days later, canceling? I will tell you this, is that it is almost never about the price. It is almost always about the value that they perceive that you offer. If grooming at your shop feels the same exact way as Petco or PetSmart, why would I come to your shop? And if you're mobile, now that there's so many more mobiles popping up, why are you different than all the other mobiles in the area? This may be niching down. Being feline exclusive was really easy for me to position myself as different. What's different about me? Well, I'm a certified feline master groomer. I only do cats because cats deserve someone who's an expert and not just going to treat them like a little dog, right? Or maybe you groom only dogs under 20 pounds and you specialize in fragile, frail, delicate, right? What is it that you're going to specialize in? What are you known for? And how are we going to be able to position that? Okay. So I want you, that's in module 3. And Maria, I'm pretty sure you took this class. If you have already taken this class, you don't need to come live to it again. you can just go back through the class and do the work. Go through what makes you special. Why should someone pick you? And if you don't know what that is, then it's time for us to hop on a one-on-one call and work through that together, or sign up for the group mentorship that is open now through the 5th. It's open every month from the 1st to the 5th. And we can brainstorm in the group ideas that make you special and position that. Okay. So Marie's saying we don't do card on file. I always think that's a mistake, but it's your business. We don't allow them to book beyond 8 weeks anymore. That's very smart. So if you don't put a card on file, when someone no calls, no shows, how do you deal with that? Not no calls, no shows, but like cancels with less than 48 hours or 24 hours notice. Marie, if you, while I'm going through this, if you want to tell me what's with this module 3, like what makes you special, I'm happy to work through with you while we're live. But so week 1, we get to know what your investment was and all the money that you've invested in. That's the first step to know if you've charged enough. Look at everything you've invested in. I was shocked when I did this for my business. I had $100,000 grooming van. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of blades and clippers and scissors and all of that. We have awesome worksheets that helps you organize all of that, right? And then we need to get a realistic view of about your earnings and how much you want your staff to earn, right? How much money do you want to take home? I want to take home 6 figures. And we learn about KPIs and metrics and all of that, right? And that's going to be really important. Again, 3, we're going to figure out where your value is. It's very rarely in the best haircut unless if you live in an area where all the haircuts suck. If you live in an area where all the haircuts suck and you are the only good haircut, then yes, people value you because of your haircut. But for the most part, there's going to be something else. Is it the customer service? All of that. Marie is saying, I can barely deal with everything involved with card on file. I can barely handle doing all the scheduling ourselves. Well, and this is why too, we highly suggest you consider using online scheduling software like Mogo. Mogo will help you schedule all of that. But again, Marie, if you're using something like Square or Stripe, they take on all the responsibility of taking a card on file. And if you have them online book, they can online book and put the card right in. And it's kind of like, again, you're kind of, cutting your, cutting your nose to spite your face. You're overwhelmed, but maybe you'd be less overwhelmed if people actually kept their appointment. We used GroomSoft. I don't know if GroomSoft does the scheduling or if they just do the online stuff. I haven't used GroomSoft in a very long time. And again, I would contact them and be like, hey, do you guys do scheduling for mobile? Like, can I do the online booking with the zip codes and all of that? If not, then maybe something to consider, switching that. But I agree, like, that's why we need to base our pricing on grooming 25 to 30 hours a week. So we have that extra time to do that. And automating things like the booking, are people rebooking? And if they're not rebooking, maybe send them a survey. Square says, I am not a person. And when I reached to support, they told me to find a different company. I have no idea what that means. That you're not a person. I don't know what that means at all. Module 4, we learn how to actually get that into motion. How are you going to start getting the plan in motion to be able to actually implement all this, right? So Marie, I'm not going to call you out, but I want you to hear how you're talking out both sides of your mouth, right? And this is a great example of sometimes we are in our own way. People cancel a lot. Do not knock that over, Kat. People cancel up and most people rebook. So if your clients are rebooking and then canceling when they find a new groomer who's cheaper, that means they're not satisfied. If that's what's happening. And you can tell me, Marie, if you are telling me right now that every client's rebooking, or most people rebook, and then people that are rebooked are canceling, do you have a system where you call them or try to, talk to them and find out why they're unhappy that they want to leave. And if they literally say it's just the price point, that means that you are no different than the other groomers in the area. Because I have plenty of clients who have places that are $35. They're not their business, but they have competition that are $35, and they're charging $100 to $150 for a small dog. And it's because clients really like them. They trust them, depending upon what their niche is. Like, I trust them. I feel safe with them. I feel like my pet's getting the best, whatever service of some kind. And it may be that you need to go back in and figure out what it is that your clients are not satisfied with. Because if they're rebooking and canceling because someone else is cheaper, that is McDonald's clients. That is not Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks clients. And it might be that you have McDonald's level clients and they are, being charged Starbucks prices, which if you're a McDonald's, you want $1 coffee and you pay $6 for a coffee. As soon as you find $1 coffee that you can tolerate, you're going to leave Starbucks. So module 4, we're going to implement the plan. And then module 5, we're going to actually communicate that price increase. We're going to explain to people why this is happening. We're going to communicate them in a way that they can understand. We have a couple of scripts and a couple of letters. There's different ways to contact people. Are you going to tell them in person? Are you going to tell them in an email? Are you going to tell them in a text? What is the actual way that you want to implement this conversation? And in a way that you're not getting overwhelmed. As that's the last thing I want you to do. You should not have more than about 6 hours maximum of office time during your week. And that's really if you have a lot of new clients, if you're going through a transition, or if you have multiple groomers, right? So if you are on a reoccurring 4-week schedule, rebooking, your office hours would significantly decrease to probably 2 hours a week. And then in module 6, we talk about how to handle client reactions with confidence. So and again, if Marie and I were on a coaching call, I would say, okay, what are they saying when this happens? And how do we overcome that conversation? Because maybe they're not understanding a certain value that we offer that they don't acknowledge, right? So, that's where that person, ready? So this is this is perfect, Marie, and she's live. So I'm going to talk with her, and this is the benefit of coming live. So Marie said that one of the ones that left admitted the other mobile is not reliable, but just deal with her because she's substantially cheaper. So here is something very, very important, right? Is that this person is openly admitting that they would rather have an unreliable groomer than pay more. That person is not a soulmate client. That's literally the conversation. Again, I've been single a long time. It would be like a man telling me, ready? It's like a guy telling me, oh, I could go out with you. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're amazing. But I don't want to wait to sleep with you. Right. I could just go out with a girl that'll sleep with me the same night and spend less money on her than go out with you. And I've got to buy you dinner and I've got to court you and I've got to date you. But why do that when I can just go to the bar and I don't have to buy her a drink? That client is telling you something. They're telling you the truth, and you need to listen. You need to say, wow, why did I attract this person? Why did this person think that they could do it? Right. Marie says, yes, she told us her old groomer was scheduled for 10 a.m. and not show up for a 4. Right. And then you can also, again, having a script, be like, it sounds like she's really overworked and grooming a lot of pets, and I totally understand you wanting to save some money. Just be very sure that this groomer is grooming safe, because if she is grooming a lot of dogs, she might be grooming 10 or 15 dogs a day, where we only groom X, whether X is 5 or whatever. We really take our time, care, and attention to groom these pets. And that's a value system to us. And if that's not a value system to you, we totally respect that. And we're just not right for each other. Right. And you have to have these conversations, because if you're being rejected because of price, it's either A, they're not your clients, they're not your soulmate clients. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's like me dating a guy and we don't have the same value system. If we don't value it, right, then that's it. So Marie's saying when she did our intake, she said she wants us to do reviews that we are reliable. Right. So right. But she wants that, but she's not willing to pay for that. Again, it's kind of like saying you're beautiful, you're smart, you're successful, but I can get a booty call from a woman who is a crackhead, right? Maybe not that bad, but it's a value system, and they don't care enough that you're reliable to pay your price, right? So maybe it's digging into that more, and that can be so many different things, right? Maybe ask them, besides being reliable, what else did you find valuable about our business? Right. And if it was just reliability and they saw no difference between you, and if she's worried about saving money, that other groomer being unreliable actually works in her favor, right? That groomer is more likely to cancel, which means that she's going to save herself some money, right? And that makes sense. Listen, if I had 2 maid services, right? I had one maid that never showed up on time. I had no idea when she would show up, and she's $50 a week. And then I had one for $150 a week, but she showed up right at 9 a.m. Some people be like, you know what? I don't want to sit around all day and wait for this person. I will pay triple for that. But most people would be like, you know what? For triple the price, I'll just wait around. No big deal. Because I don't value my time enough. So when you're looking at your marketing, are you telling that person that, are you hitting that pain point? Are you reminding them that pain point? And having a script for that, right? But this person might say, you know what, for triple the price, I'll just wait around all day. And there's not, if you remind them and say, hey, I know you came to us because we were reliable. Have you decided that that's not valuable enough to pay our prices? And they say, yeah, I've decided that. There's nothing you can do with that. They don't value what you bring to the table, and what you bring to the table is reliability. And you can always say, besides reliability, what else did you really enjoy about our business that stood out to you? Right? And if she says nothing, then that is either in your business or it's with them. And again, without doing a more deep dive, you're not going to know. Right. And that's it. But ultimately, especially when you do a price increase, you're going to lose a lot of people. Because if you've gotten people by accident, listen, I've been single for 4 years. It was never single from the time I was like 14 to the time I was like 30. And you know why that was? Is because my bar was really low. And then I decided, you know what? I want a man who does this, 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 and this. I want these. My standards were raised. My bar was raised. And then it was so much harder to date. I could have gone on 15 dates a week effortlessly. And the second I raised my bar, it became significantly harder to find dates. Why? Because the pool of people I was interested in went from everyone to just this finite amount of people. Right? And so, Marie, I want you to really consider what makes you special. And if it's just reliability, then you've got to find people that are willing to pay more for reliability. And that goes into your website and your marketing. Again, I haven't seen your website, but a lot of times if that is the pain point in your area, that you want a groomer who shows up no matter what, that's not enough. But if it is enough in your area and you swear it's enough in your area, then you need to consider, is your marketing geared towards that? Right? And that's not easy. But, I just want you to consider all of that stuff. And a lot of it is, when you're increasing your prices, is figuring out, what do your clients value? And how do I convince them that those are values? And a lot of times it's not saying, hey, you should value this. Like again, products. I know and you know they should care what is used on their dog to wash them. They should care, but a lot of them don't, because either they don't know or it's not really something they care about. I would never pick a hairdresser over what kind of shampoos they're going to use on my hair or products. Maybe when I'm dyeing, maybe if I was doing extensions, but not in like a regular haircut, right? I'm not that worried about it. So what are other things that they could do to convince me to choose them, right? But as far as discussing how much is enough, that's up to you. And it's not easy. You do have to do some work. You do have to make sure that you are finding out how much you've invested in, right? You need to find out how much you want to earn, and how do we translate that into your metrics and your KPIs and all of that. If you're saying $100 a dog, it's like, okay, well, how many dogs are you doing a day? And is that small dogs or big dogs? Are big dogs being charged enough? And I know we talk about that to death, right? And then, okay, so I need to charge this amount, and I don't love hourly. I really prefer using my point system for that. If you can do 5 2-point dogs, well, if a doodle is technically 4 to 8 points, so let's say an average of 6, I can do 1 doodle, right? And 2 Shih Tzus, because that would be a 6-point doodle and then 2 2-point Shih Tzus. So if each 2-point Shih Tzu is $100 for easy math, so I can do 5 of them a day. So that's 10 points, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2 5-point, 5 2-point Shih Tzus. Then that means I would make $500 a day, right? So if I say, a fair price for a doodle is $200, but that doodle is a 6-point dog, it should cover the 3 Shih Tzus, right? Because 2, 4, 6, 2-point dogs, 3 of them is 1 doodle at 6 points, right? So that means that doodle would need to be $300. And again, there's more involved in all of that, but it's really important to figure that out for yourself, right? It's important for you to look at everything and figure it out. And I feel like a lot of you guys are like, I feel like this is a good amount. That seems reasonable. I can charge $100 an hour, but have you communicated with your clients? Is it easy for them to understand? Is it simple? Have you double checked? Have you looked in your area, not just with other groomers? Have you looked at rents? Could you afford to hire a groomer hourly? Or are you using 50% as a crutch, right? Or if you want to move your groomers to hourly, could you afford the hourly, right? If they need to make $30 an hour, sorry, he's decided to hang out. If you need to charge $30 an hour, right? Let me pull up my calculator so we can share that really quick. Would you sit down, young man? You got cat hair all in my eyeballs, right? So $30 an hour. Let's say we're going to work 40 hours a week. It's $1,200 times, let's say they never take a week off. That's only $62,000, guys. $30 an hour is only $62,000. Now that's a good salary if you're doing 5 dogs a day, right? And all of that. But if they're grooming, let's say a $60 dog times 0.5, let's actually do it this way, 60 divided by 2, because we know 50% is half, right? And they're grooming 5 a day, that's 150. And you're going to say, no, they're going to be grooming 8 dogs a day. Well, 8 dogs a day is a lot of dogs for a groomer, especially if they don't have a bather. But that 150 divided by 8 is it's about $19 an hour. So if you're a groomer whose Shih Tzu prices is $60, okay, you're getting 50%, okay, working 8 hours a week. Hang on, I messed that up. Give me 1 second. So 60 divided by 2, $30 a dog. Let's say you are doing 5 a day in 8 hours. It's about $19. Right now, if you're like, I'm grooming 8 anyway, right? So 60 times 8 divided by 2. You're making 240. Let's divide that again by 8 hours a day. It's 30. So this is the tough part we're having as business owners, because in order to give that groomer $30 an hour, I think we need to be about $120 a dog. Woo, 120. We want to keep it under 30%. That would be $36. So let's look at 100. Okay, times 0.3, 30% for payroll, $30. And that's enough meat on the bone for the owner to be able to pay, hopefully, benefits and have an emergency fund and do all those things. And if you're an owner and you want to add staff, you need to get higher. It's going to get worse. We're going to have more and more and more people buying dogs, doing things. You need to figure out what it is that you are willing to do for how much. All right. So hopefully this has helped enlighten you and help you guys out. If you guys are interested, you are more than welcome to sign up for my price increase masterclass. That is savvygroomer.com/PIMC. Now, we do have a live one going on right now. It's being sold. We're going to do it live on the 16th. So we close on the 15th. If you find this afterwards, we do always have the self-study. We are going to only do the price increase masterclass live once a year. So this is the last time in 2022 to do the live masterclass for price increase. Okay. We have so many other projects coming down. We have membership masterclass coming. We have, I'm actually really excited. I don't want to talk too much because it's coming down. We have higher managed pay. We have all these things, but first things first, I need you guys to make sure you're earning enough before we start adding these other things in. It's a lot easier to do a price increase first and then set up a membership. You can do it all at once, but it's a lot of back end work. Okay. So if you are considering taking the membership model, I highly suggest that you start with the price increase masterclass. Make sure your prices are where they are. There is a deep discount for those people that have taken the price increase masterclass or have taken it as a self-study in order for them to go ahead and take it live. I love when you guys are live because then I can help support you. Marie, I really hope that you consider why your clients are not appreciating you. And again, that person who literally said, I would rather have someone show up between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., they're telling you they're not your client. They don't value what you value. They don't care about what makes you special. And so it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing because they're going to go back to that other groomer and they're going to be happy with that. You can't help people that are happy to do it. Again, it's similar to if I'm dating a guy and I'm like, I want love, I want a relationship, I want a commitment, and he doesn't want that. It doesn't make sense to keep dating them. They've told you what they value and it's not you. And that does hurt, but at least they're honest. All right, guys. So I hope this was helpful. That was all about, are you really charging enough? Now, I really hope you are. If you haven't already, please consider joining my Facebook group, which is the Savvy Pet Professionals. It is a free group. You can just hop in there. It's facebook.com/group/Savvy Groomer. Talk about personal finance, business, and lifestyle. Of all the groups that I'm in, that's the one I see the most. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my outro. Boop, boop. All righty, guys. It was so great to see you here live. Again, I appreciate you. And Marie, I really hope you take what I said to heart and are able to really start working through that. I know it sounds kind of harsh, but I know you're taking a class of mine and you've just got to do the work. Go back through it. Take the worksheets and the homework and say, okay, did what they seem to care about actually matter? Or is it something that I'm just trying really hard to say they should care, right? It doesn't matter. What's the saying? You can be the juiciest peach, and some people just don't like peaches. So focus on the people that do value you and figure out what those clients that are good, okay, care about that. All right. So I love you all, and I hope you have a fantastic night. And as always, guys, happy grooming.